Hello everyone, it's me, GFish17 here. And, well, today's going to be a response video, again, to religious content. Because right now, that's kind of grinding my gears, is that the phrase? It's a pet peeve. Right now it's the one getting to me. For the time being, anyway. I'm here to respond to a combination of FaithWire and a few other Christian shows I can't remember. Right. PureFlix. Yeah. Whew. They were saying something pretty interesting. I had to search them out on YouTube just to find their videos, though. But this is a response to both FaithWire and to PureFlix, as I've mentioned before, because they're talking about something that I think as incredibly good news, as if it were bad news. And that is the rise of the nuns, also known as the decline of Christianity. Well, I live in Newton, Iowa. 50208. Basically, yeah, that's our zip code. Well, Christianity here, it's going away. I mean, yes, there's a lot of churches in the church parking lot, but as I have been told by my sister, who still goes to school because she's still at a school age, Christianity is on a very sharp decline. She doesn't really know anybody who's Christian, and the two Jehovah's Witnesses she does know are already done with it. A lot of the Christians she knows are only going to church because their parents go to church. They see it as some sort of tedious chore, which is awesome, because that's what church is. If you really think about it, it's a tedious chore. It's right up there with doing the dishes, except for the difference is when you do the dishes, you actually get to eat food off of them. When you go to church, yeah, you're kind of sexually frustrated because you're staring at all these weirdly cute girls there and you can't do a thing about it, except for get married, even though in reality it's not marriage you're thinking about. The only purpose for matrimony is sex, ultimately, when you're in church. I might get married just to have sex, just because I'm in church. But I'm not in church, which means I could probably have sex regardless. Some of those Christian girls on those shows, on FaithWire, and on some of those other shows, let's put it this way, if they asked me to fuck them, I'd probably honor that request. I know Christians would find it ironic that I use the word honor, but I don't think it's entirely inaccurate. Well, basically though, in Newton, Iowa, we have tons of churches. Like, too many. We have the Lutheran Church. Oh, and they put up a sign that I think is worth talking about. The sign goes like this at our Lutheran Church. I was never Lutheran, but we have a Lutheran Church in Newton, Iowa. It's a big building. It's kind of a waste because it has enough room for solar panels. It has enough yard for a community garden. But come up here, girl. Oh yeah, and I'm going to introduce you to Dixie. She licks. Can't tell if you're watching this, she licks everything. Yep. Rachel isn't the only one with a cute dog. Now what are you gonna do? She has floppy ears. Anyway, now that I got your attention, if you're the Christian channels, that is, because of cute doggy, she wants attention. So, I might digress a few times because of dog. Oh, right, and look at this. Look at this. This is definitely going to get me some views. Do you think I'm going to get views? Yeah, I actually might. Okay. I'm hoping Kentoven's watching this. I know you've been licking, girl. Oh, I know you've been putting that tongue everywhere. And I don't just mean everywhere on you. I just mean everywhere, period. You don't lick yourself nearly as much as you lick everything else. And she does. Everything. Like, there's nothing she can't lick. She'll lick you. You try to shake her hand? You do that paw shake thing? She'll lick your hand. She will lick everything. Like seriously, she will. She'll lick the blanket. She'll lick the pillow. She'll try to lick your car. She'll lick the black powder on the ground if she had the chance. And then she might lick up a match and a piece of flint if she had a chance too. I wouldn't put it past her. Okay. FaithWire and let's see where I was. Okay. The doggy distracted me. FaithWire and PureFlix are talking about the rise of the nuns and of atheism getting more and more prevalent. Well, that's true. In reality, they are. And I don't believe that there's any going back from that, and that's really part of the greatest thing ever. Because, you see, I do not believe that there is a God. I used to. It took me a while to get to this point. It didn't happen overnight. I mean, I may have not wanted to go to church as a kid, but I still believed in God. In fact, I really did fear Him, and I didn't see church as a requirement. The Bible doesn't use the word church. At least not saying you have to go to it. It says that the people are the church. Well, what that means is that God didn't say you had to congregate at a specific building. Oh, I remember what I was talking about. Okay. The Lutheran Church. I don't know much about their belief systems at all. I just know something about the aftermath. They put up a sign in Newton, which to me is telling about the fact that they recognize the rise of atheism. The sign goes like this: living like there is no God, you better pray you are right. That's what it is. Basically, you better pray you are right. Well, that's an ironic statement. In fact, the whole thing, I think, could be classified as loaded language. Because living like there is no God. Like there is no God. Implying that they believe that there is a God already. Then you better pray you are right. Well, that's the thing about atheists. Atheism is defined as a non-belief in gods. Or just a singular God. Okay? Can we agree to that definition? I like to think you can. Well, they think that we're supposed to just believe intrinsically. The Bible even has verses claiming that people already know. I don't know. I thought I knew, but I don't know. How do I know that there is a God if I don't know? How can you prove I have knowledge that I say I don't have? Do you have a way to test for this? I don't think there's a testing method. And morality is not equivalent to belief in God. I don't believe in God, yet I believe that killing is wrong. That wouldn't stop me from maybe making certain choices, but I don't believe in a God and I don't kill people. So, not only do I not believe in a God, I'm not convinced one even exists. And if he did exist, he's a psychopath. So, in many ways, God's worse than a psychopath. I think God is worse. Because his brain's functioning supposedly beyond human abilities. That means he's functioning even past supposedly sane abilities. I must apologize for the frame rate drops. I'm using a different software for once. I'm not using Windows. Apparently Cheese on Linux, that one's what I'm using. I need to actually get that. I'm going to switch out with another software called GUCV. Well, I'm going to mention some things that have happened in the past that have been of interest to me. My sister went to middle school not that long ago. And this is not a series about her at all. This is just a description of events. What happened was my mom told this girl, "God bless you." And the girl's like, "Okay." And that girl talked to my sister. And she told my sister, "Your mom's crazy." Yeah. So they'll nod and agree. Meanwhile, they'll say that you're insane, unhinged, even dangerous. And these kids, this was back in the old days. My sister's in high school now. You know what that means? They're going to graduate high school. And then they're going to be voting. Many of them are going to be registered voters soon. These are people who believe Christianity is insane, even dangerous. They're going to be voting for candidates. Who are they going to vote for? Anymore, I've reached a point that whenever I hear a candidate say, "God bless," I roll my eyes. And I'm like, ugh. That's how I feel about spiritual bullshit. Yeah, I use profanity. You see, that's another freedom that comes from atheism. You can say whatever you want and you're not expected to alter your life. I don't believe any book should be an authority on how I live my life. And if you do, then you can live with that. I will not. It's time for religion. There's a frame rate skip. It's time for religion to end. And we need to see that it does. Christianity is on a sharp decline. I don't have the numbers. Okay? I don't have those numbers. Christians, however, on FaithWire, they're keeping count. I don't have to. They're doing it for me. The Catholics, they're keeping count. Protestants, not so much. Protestants have no freaking clue how every couple people that leave the church, there's probably a couple people they're not getting back. The only reason I'd ever go back to church is mainly just ready to get into the pants of a cute girl. And if she's so naive as to think I'm talking about wearing them, that's not what I mean. I'm a bit of a pervert. The only reason I ever really stayed in church or even in school is for one thing only. Cute girls. There's a surprising number of cute girls, but the second there's no cute girls in church, the second I'm not seeing a cute hottie that I want to have sex with, that's the second there's no point for church to me. That same second there's no more cute girls I want to see naked is the same second I will no longer go to church. The same moment I will refuse to go to church. I've already refused, but the difference is if I did go back, it's because of expectations. Not because of expectations of God, mind you, but expectations of sex. I don't really believe in any supernatural force. I don't believe I'm going to be struck by a bolt of lightning if I have sex with a cute girl inside the church. And I don't believe the girl really wants to obey that law either. And if she does, then I might find a different girl. Not all of them are going to be so obedient. I don't believe that God or Jesus are historical figures. I only count things that can be called physical evidence. As in evidence you could literally put into a plastic baggie. Can you put anything of God into a plastic baggie and have the forensics teams at the CSI look at it? Crime scene investigations. I don't believe you can. And I would like it if you would just accept the fact that we have no evidence either for or against your God. You cannot prove a negative. God is already a negative. That's why we can't disprove him. But we can try to disprove the facts as we know them. And we have not been able to. And if you think that the world we live in is so bad, move to a place that's more Christian. Well, and I find it really happy to find that many of the Christians that are here are mostly migrants now. But you know why? The migrants are the ones who believe in God the most? Like from Mexico and so forth? It's because they're impoverished. They are in poor condition. They're in a very poor state. Education and atheism are two things you're usually going to find. If you want a place with the least crime rates, follow the atheists. Atheists tend to show up in places where crime is exceedingly low. atheists show up in places where murder rates are exceedingly low and where porn is plentiful. Where porn is plentiful. Sex crimes have had a notable diminished number in places that had access to porn. I mean, I'm usually masturbating. I'm not going to be doing anything. I've already satisfied myself. I've already satisfied myself. I love going on pornographic websites. Rule 34, Pornhub. FaithWire. I'm glad that sharing your faith is such a stigma. Because honestly, I don't want to hear it. It's like, it's insane to me. It's insane. And I don't really believe that faith is a virtue. Faith is the opposite of a virtue. Doubt, now that's a virtue. You can't just go believing things just because people say them. I think I took care of the thing causing the frame rate issues. Well, if you have a God claim, I want physical evidence. If you don't have physical evidence, then you have no argument. You've already lost the argument. FaithWire, people are leaving the church. And in Newton, Iowa, there's tons of churches here. We're going secular. We have the Baptist, we have the Lutheran, we have more than one Lutheran. We have what we call the CLC, the Christian Life Center. And we used to have a organization called Without Walls. This guy named Mark used to be there. He would follow me around praying over me. It was all freaky and creepy. He contributed to my idea that Christianity is freaky and odd and uncomfortable. I didn't like going. I resented him. In fact, I still resent him. Because I did not like being followed around as he would pray in tongues over me with his eyes closed. That freaked me out. To such an extent, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with the faith, pretty much. I was nearly done right there. The only thing that kept me in the faith at that point was literally the fear of hell. And if I didn't have the fear of hell, which I don't now, I'd be done. I had an entire claustrophobic inner fight over heaven and hell, and that's around the time I was done with Christianity. But basically, I don't believe that any of that is true. The first atheist I ever listened to was the friendly atheist Hemet Mehta. And you know what it took to finish off my belief system? You know what it took on YouTube to really just kill what was left of my faith? And make me feel good? Make me feel alive? Hemet Mehta he simply made a top 10 list. And it finished off what was left. It was meant to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it got the job done. I didn't want something deep. And it did it. It did exactly what I needed it to do. His top 10 list of just simple questions was enough to make me ask questions to myself. That's all it took. That was the finishing blow, really. But when I tell the story about it, I'll tell you the story about how I got to there. You see, in the I Used to Be a Christian series that I have going on, I'm not just saying what happened, I'm detailing how I got there, or at least how I remember getting there. The next episode of the I Used to Be a Christian series will take place in high school, and I'll skim over my entire high school experience. I'm not going to be specific at all. I don't know when I'll put it out. I might put it out next month, I might put it out a year from now. It all depends. But basically, I Used to Be a Christian talks about the fact that I was Christian. And I'll be honest, I was Christian after high school too. I was Christian because my mom told me to be. I've seen Mr. Rogers. He got me curious about the fact that things do get put together. They get assembled. Things don't just magically appear. They come from somewhere. Somebody had to build them. And then I realized, where did the somebody come from? Mom would say God. But then I would think, where did God come from? There's no answer. Except for the answer that God will explain it. I'm like, why not explain it right now? Then she gives the argument, well, because the explanation would blow your brain apart. In other words, it would actually kill me just to hear the explanation. And I'm like, this better be one hell of an explanation. I want to hear it now. If I'm going to die from knowing the truth, then I should die from knowing the truth. Like, I want to know the stuff that the Bible doesn't talk about. The truths that even the Bible doesn't say. Back then, I really believed the Bible had truth. Now, I don't feel that way. I don't believe that the Bible has truth. But getting there. Imagine, you being a Christian all your life. Well, at least up till now. And I did believe in God. I really did. I was also scared of Him. Christians would say, well, you're not supposed to be afraid. Hell exists. The fact that I can go to hell just for not believing is enough to be scary. And then the fact that I have to repent or suffer. He built that system. And then who decided the value of sin to be greater than anything else? Like, that sin was such a terrible crime. Not me. Who decided that is so bad? Ultimate answer. It would have to be your God. I'm no longer superstitious about where I step on the ground. I am no longer superstitious about wine and bread. We don't drink wine in my church. It was grape juice. I no longer believe any of that. You know the people who are the major atheists who helped me understand my own position? The reason I had such a difficult time understanding my own position is because I didn't even know what atheism really was. The most I knew about atheism came from Carmen. I don't even know if you guys even remember he exists. The guy who looks like an Italian mobster with his hair. He's even recently sang a song called the Trump Blues. Well, I admit Donald Trump is a joke. Christians should be more worried about him than even me. Everyone should have issues with him. He makes you look bad. And you guys don't look good at all. You have nothing going for you, and Trump is making you look bad. That's your situation. I want you to understand that. I also want PureFlix to know, and I want FaithWire to know, I've also been on the comment section of Kent Hovind, and I've also been on your comments sections. I'm not going to just allow you to have a vacuum chamber to talk about your faith to them, to those people. I'm going to try to debunk everything I can. And you know what? If I used to be a Christian, and I used to really believe in hell and even be absolutely terrified of it, and now I'm an atheist, don't you think for a second I can't convince somebody? Maybe I haven't done it yet, and it's true, I have not. But you know what? One day I will. And one day I'll figure out why it worked. Maybe I'll ask that person, why did you listen to me? What did I say that got you convinced? And they'll tell me. And then I'll ask the next person. I'll look for consistency amongst the people that seem to see reason in what I said. Why is it now you were convinced? And as they all share and share, I'll realize what arguments I need to make. And then eventually, I'll start noticing a higher success rate. If I so much as make one person realize that their religion is nonsense, and I mean just one person, ever in my life, then I call that a win. If I make one person decide that religion is a waste of time, that their Christianity has not served them in any real capacity, and they critically examine what has happened, or not happened rather, I call that a win. And FaithWire, PureFlix, both of you, I just want you to realize that I'm not going to quit. I'm not a part of the ACA, the Atheist Community of Austin, at all. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to put in some efforts. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, or in your case, even dislike. Either way, it helps my channel. So, I ask you to please go on ahead. Respond. I want to hear it. Assuming I can even find you. You're not that big of a channel. And I'm going to say goodbye. Dixie! Dixie, come on. Say goodbye! Say goodbye! We don't believe in God! No, we don't! There is no God!